Now we go to Deputy Roisin Shortall, please.
Thank you, Taoiseach. The NTA announced the Greater Dublin Transport Strategy yesterday. It represents, in my view, a huge blow to the people of the Greater Dublin area, and what appears to be an abandonment of our emissions targets in the transport area as set out in the Climate Action Plan. It was particularly devastating for the north side of Dublin because of the further long fingering of Metrolink. I represent Dublin North West, the only constituency in the Greater Dublin area which doesn't have any rail service at all. We're entirely dependent on a bus service which is not capable of meeting the demand from commuters. For large numbers of people, they have no choice but to get into their cars and drive. Dublin North West, of course, is sandwiched between the city centre and Fingal, an area which has seen its population grow by 41% in a 20-year period, and it's continuing to grow. Many residents in Fingal, too, have no choice but to get into their cars to drive because of the inadequate capacity in the public transport system. On top of all of that is the airport, where passenger numbers reached 33 million in 2019. We are the only European capital without a rail link to our airport. All of that adds up to a situation where there is near gridlock for most of the day on most main roads on the north side of Dublin. There is seldom a morning when the Swords Road at Whitehall is not referenced in the traffic reports. In the 90s, we were promised a north side Lewis line. It never materialised. The Metro was first announced in 2001. Your late colleague, Seamus Brennan, told us that Metro would be open in 2007. We are now on our third iteration of Metro. There have been several rounds of detailed consultation with residents on the north side of Dublin. There have been hundreds of meetings held. Thousands of leaflets have been distributed. Hundreds of millions of euro have been spent on planning and design work. And yesterday, the bombshell was dropped that it will be more than 10 years and possibly up to 20 years before there's any prospect of Metro opening. Yet again, and for the third time, people are being marched to the top of the hill, Taoiseach. It is beyond belief that it was a Green Party Minister for Transport who flagged the fact that this project, and indeed the DART Plus, would not go ahead. So I'm asking you, Taoiseach, what are you saying to the people of the north side of Dublin now? Have they to put up with gridlock for the next 10 years? Please. And secondly, what do you intend doing in relation to our emissions targets, which are not capable of being met in the absence of these projects?
Well, first of all, I think the wrong complexion is being put entirely on the NTA report and in terms of the Greater Dublin transport strategy for the Greater Dublin area. And just in relation to, just deal with the issue of emissions first of all, under the strategy published yesterday, which is a statutory requirement to review the strategy that they had published in 2016. But under that strategy, greenhouse gases linked to public transport will fall dramatically, contrary to what you've said. I mean, implementation of the full measures will reduce transport emissions in the Greater Dublin area by 69%. And that will come about because of further investment in DART and Lewis, which are already fully electric, but also as a result of the complete transition away from fossil fuels for buses within 13 years. I'd like to do that faster, and I'm maintaining the pressure on that. An acceleration of investment also then in walking and cycling infrastructure will also deliver substantial greenhouse gas reductions. And the delivery of existing projects under the current strategy and newly proposed projects will significantly expand the availability of alternative options to private car journeys. Newly proposed plans include the provision of a new rail line to Navan, extending the DART Plus programme to deliver electrified rail services to Sallins, Naas, Kilcock and Wicklow. Now, you've made fair points in relation to Northside, the airport and rail link. And I accept your analysis in terms of the gridlock and the unacceptable situation for residents and commuters from the north side in. But the NDP provides the funding to commence delivery of the major public transport projects under the Greater Dublin Area Transport Strategy, Bus Connects being one, DART Plus and Metro Link. And you are correct in saying enormous work has gone in relation to finalising the preliminary design of Metrolink, completing the required environmental impact assessment reports, closing out property referencing issues. That's all critical work to Metrolink, and you outlined some of it yourself in terms of the consultations. So the focus right now is getting all three projects, Bus Connects, DART Plus, Metrolink, to government for approval under the public spending code and at a project level, getting their planning application documentation ready for submission to on board Planala in early 2022. So this idea that has kind of been spun out there that somehow it has been shelved for 10 years is just not the truth. I mean, it's going to planning in early 2022. It has to go through public spending codes and the various approvals. I don't think anybody here would expect otherwise. And the fact that the NDP is a 10-year envelope and has a 10-year framework, I think is the ultimate guarantor that we will get Metrolink built. And that is our determination as a government. So far from shelving anything, work is proceeding at pace to get Metrolink off, I was going to say off the ground, but get it going in terms of all of the necessary decisions that have to be taken in terms of getting it ready for planning.
Deputy Shortall.
I actually think you're misrepresenting what was announced yesterday.
No, I'm not.
Look, Taoiseach, look, we've been told...
Genuinely not, no.
We have been told that DART Plus will not happen, cannot happen until the 2040s, right? 2040s, post-2042. We know about Metrolink. In spite of the fact that it has been promised for more than 20 years, we were promised a rail link for more than 30 years, that nothing will happen in relation to the opening of Metro until at least post-2031. So that's another 10 years. So Taoiseach, I'm asking you, what are you saying to the people of the north side of Dublin in relation to the gridlock that they now encounter in trying to go about their daily business? What will happen to improve that situation over the next 10 years? Are there any grounds for hope that anything will change on the north side of Dublin in the next 10 years?
I mean, first of all, Bus Connects. That's a huge priority to Bus Connects. There's been comprehensive and extensive consultations with communities in relation to Bus Connects. The investment has been put into the NDP to make that happen. Likewise with Metrolink. That is going to happen. And I understand all of the frustrations. I accept the points. No.
More than 10 years before it opens.
No. I've spoken to the Minister, Eamon Ryan, in relation to this.
Did you read the plan?
No, please.
The government has provided funding. I mean, this will go to planning in early 2022. That is and the three decisions on Bus Connects, DART Plus, Metrolink come to Cabinet within the next while, very shortly, before Christmas and early in the new year.
It's phase
now, the bottom line is
for
this.
opening.
There are planning processes we have to get through. We have to get through them. And no one in here can determine either the length of time that will be involved in getting over those time frames and challenges and so on like that inevitably happen with projects as large as this. But what has been provided is the funding to underpin it in the National Development Plan, and the Minister is very determined to progress these three key elements of the GDA strategy.
Thank you, Taoiseach. Time is up. Please, deputies, we move to Deputy Carl Nolan. Please, Deputy Carl Nolan.